What's up everyone, Boomslangg here, and welcome to the first video in a new series I will be creating. This is The Division 101. In this series, I will be going over the basics of everything in the game, so if you have a question about a certain feature in the game, then you can refer to one of these videos and hopefully find your answer. I'm going to try to make these as informational and as easy to understand as possible. For the first video, we're going to be going over crafting. So, this is The Division Crafting 101. In The Division, you can craft every stat-based loot item in the entire game. That includes weapons, masks, body armor, backpacks, gloves, holsters, knee pads, weapon mods, gear mods, and finally we have material conversions. In order to craft anything though, you first have to acquire materials. These come in 5 different categories: cloth, weapon parts, tools, electronics, and division tech. Cloth and electronics are used in creating gear and gear mods. Weapons and tools are used to create weapons and weapon mods. And finally, the division tech is an additional crafting material used in crafting Dark Zone blueprints. Each crafting material has 3 different rarities: standard, which is green, specialized, which is blue, and high end, which is yellow. And you can see just how many of each of these materials you have by looking under the pouches tab of the inventory. All across the world, there are material caches that you can loot for 2 or 3 of whatever the indicated material is. Electronic stores have electronics, police stations have weapon parts, auto repair have tools, and so on. And in these areas, you can only receive blue or green materials every 2 hours. Another way to get these is by upgrading your base. The gunsmith in the security wing will give you weapon parts, the pharmacy in the medical wing will give you fabric, and finally, division tech and field engineering in the security wing will give you tools and electronics respectively. All of these only give out 1 material per hour though, so it's not the best farming option. Deconstructing weapons is one of the more efficient ways of collecting materials, but you also can't sell that weapon after you do that, so you have to decide whether you want to craft items or buy them. One of the final ways to get materials is by completing the daily missions. Now, if you have materials, you're going to need blueprints. Blueprints are the plans for the craftable items in the game. To get a blueprint, you can complete side missions in each of the districts, or you can buy them from the vendors in the Dark Zone and the special gear vendor in the tech wing of the base of operations with Phoenix credits. In order to craft items, you need to access the crafting table in the base of operations. Here you can see every recipe you have, what level it is, what materials it takes to craft, and the possible bonuses it will have. For example, blue weapons will show the possible damage range and how many talents it will have randomly generated once crafted, and the same for the rest of the rarity weapons and the gear. You can also use this menu to compare the current items you have equipped with the items that you can craft. This works well because you can see the pros and cons of the potential items versus the items you already have, and then the actual pros and cons after you craft the item. And with weapons, if you press in the right analog stick, you can even compare the details such as stability and accuracy. Crafting is done the same way for all items. If you have all the materials needed, simply press and hold the craft button and voila! Now you have a new item, simple and easy. The best part about this is it doesn't require any kind of currency, just the materials required for that particular blueprint. Now, if you find yourself short on the specialized or high-end materials, that's where material conversions come into play. Say you have deconstructed all of your gear and weapons from early on in the game, or you've done a lot of looting of the loot caches throughout the world and you have tons of green materials. Using the material conversion at the crafting table allows you to use those lower rarities to make higher ones. 5 green materials make 1 blue material, and 5 blue materials make 1 yellow materials. Unless it's for Dark Zone blueprints, in which case you will need 2 green materials to make 1 blue material, and then 2 blue materials to make 1 yellow material. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. But this is a really useful feature in the game, and it makes every piece of loot valuable in some way, even if it's not going to bump up your stats. And with that, we have come to the end of Crafting 101. Hopefully you found this video informative and helpful if you didn't know that much about the crafting mechanic in The Division. And for the final thought, I want to know, do you like the crafting in The Division? What's good about it? What's bad about it? And how often do you use it? Let me know in the comments below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more The Division 101 and more Division content. And until next time, don't trust anyone in the Dark Zone.